said what I said. Hi friends! We are starting a new reading vlog, of course, because that's pretty much all you're gonna see on my channel. Okay? If you want to see other videos, let me know. But for this vlog, as you saw in my last one, I did a trying to discover Christian suspense and mystery. Ended up being really successful for me. I'll link that video down below if you haven't seen it. But for this vlog, I think I want to do some Christian romance because that's another genre that I just never have ever picked up, except for I have read some Francine Rivers. So there's that, but I haven't read anyone else. I don't think. We're gonna discover, one, if I'm a romance person, because that's questionable, and also if I like Christian romance. The first book that I picked up from my library is Dear Henry Love Edith by Becca Kinzer. This, I think, took Christian BookTube by storm. Like a couple years ago, maybe last year, I'm not sure, but everyone talks about how much they love this book, and I'm just here for the ride. I know a lot of people have loved this book. I'm very, very, very excited because I've heard that it's really funny. Things I need. Someone is walking by my house again. Hide. I'm sitting right by a window that looks straight down to my street, and people can just look right up and see me recording myself holding a book, and that's okay. Anyways, this one is so funny, I've heard, which is something I really, really, really love in books in general. Like if characters are genuinely funny and I laugh, I love that because reading to me is a fun time, especially obviously in fiction. I just love to have a good time when I'm reading a fiction book. So not that it's what it's always about, but I do love that in romance books specifically. So all I know about this is that it's kind of You've Got Mail, where there's two people who are writing notes to each other. Either one of them or both of them think that the other is like an elderly person. So they're not like romantically writing to each other, but they are getting to know each other through these notes. But then also in real life, they have like run into each other and kind of like catch feelings, but they don't know that's who they're writing to. Makes sense? I'm just excited for a clean, cute romance, and I'm not super worried about it because I know like this is a Christian author, so I have heard for a fact that there's no swearing and there's no sex scenes. One thing that has happened in my life since the Lord changed me a lot last year, I can't hardly watch any romance movies just because that's something that I've struggled with in the past, of lust and of, yeah, I guess that's what it is, lust. I don't want to go back to that. So that's why I'm dipping my toe into some Christian romance and some romance that I know are clean in that department because my mind just can't. I just don't want it in my head. I'm not sitting here judging you if you read other things, but for me and my life right now, I just can't intake it. So we're on this journey together. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know what other books I decide to read as we go through the vlog because I don't want to commit to something right now and then change my mind. So, okay, see you later. Just finished this book and I didn't give you any updates and I'm real sorry about that, but okay. Let's start with the things I loved. I really loved this cast of characters in the little towns. Like they were in a small town and then she was in another small town. The humor, just pure, I don't know. just quirkiness that those characters brought was hilarious. I found myself laughing out loud. I just love quirky characters. Like in a small town, that's something I just really love. This is Becca Kinzer's debut novel, which I feel like was really, really good. I really like her writing style. I didn't realize that Becca Kinzer, in her bio on the back of the book, it says that she's a nurse and Edith is a nurse. So I thought that was a really cool little tie-in. I really love Edith's heart to serve people and love people well. I just really, really, really love that. I love the "you've got mail" feeling of this book, especially the beginning. I thought that was really funny. Just the misunderstanding of each other in regards to their age. Both Edith and Henry thought that the other one was older, like an elderly person. They were staying with an elderly person, basically. And so it's just funny to hear them writing notes to each other, because they end up like writing little notes on the kitchen counter because they keep missing each other. And at first I was like, how is this gonna continue? I don't understand how this can continue like throughout the whole book. Not that it would, but I was like just interested to see. And I think that's where my issues come into the book. I think I'm remembering why I tend to not really enjoy romance books when it's just romance, because when you don't have the main plot of a story other than these people's relationships, you gotta create drama, right? Because otherwise you don't want to read it. And I understand that, especially when it's like contemporary romance. I feel like it happens more. I don't know how to say this without spoiling parts of it. So if you don't want to hear anything about this book, I did enjoy it. I liked it. One more thing before I tell you where to skip to if you want to skip this part about some spoilers. The faith content. The faith content's very, very light. I think I was expecting a little bit more in that department. I was hoping for more, and I understand every author is different. I'm happy that there is clean romance out there, but I think this being marked as like a Christian romance, it just felt very, very minimal in that regard. And I just wish that we had gotten more of that in the thoughts and feelings and like prayers or whatever of our characters. But that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna knock it for that, because I am happy that fiction is being produced that is just positive and, you know, lighthearted. And so there's that. I just personally wish that there was a little bit more faith. Because at first, like about halfway through, I was like, has there been a mention of God? I don't know. And there could have been, but I just may have missed it. I just legit was like, is this Christian? Like, and eventually there is mention of God and things. But, okay, now, if you don't want to hear any spoilery anything, skip to this point in the video, and that's totally fine. Here's a little bit more. Not like, I'm not gonna give away the huge plot points, but so Henry does find out about who Edith is and her age a lot sooner, and it happens to be someone that he's very attracted to in the town. They've had like a run-in, very attracted to each other type of situation, but he decides to lie to Edith. And if there's one thing that I hate, well, actually, two of the things that I hate in books in general, in characters, happen in this book. And I understand his thoughts. I get it. I do. I understand. But I'm also like annoyed because I kept expecting that to get taken care of or like confronted. But Edith kept letting him off the hook for a lot of things and making it easy for them to just move on. And I think that's like the bottom line of what annoyed me the most. It annoyed the living daylights out of me that she just kept just letting him off the hook really easily. And I'm like, girl, speak up. Like, this isn't cool, and you weren't cool with it. So I don't know. It just bothered me as a woman. The second thing that annoys me the most in romance books is when someone has a significant other, whether or not this person, you know they're not going to stay together, you know that. But the fact is, Henry had a girlfriend at the beginning. He let himself emotionally cheat on his girlfriend. I mean, he did. And to me, that's like a huge deal. Again, wasn't confronted. I'm not trying to say I want like my characters to be perfect. I understand that like there's gonna be things that are not perfect about our characters in books. That's why we love books, right? We work through issues with our characters, you know? But I think that trope is one that I genuinely just cannot stand. And I think it's like for personal reasons, hate it. But also the fact that this was like a Christian book, it felt weird to me. It felt icky. It just felt icky the way that he went about that. And then when it finally did get confronted, it was like, not a big deal. Oh, hey, she's been cheating on him too. And then it was just like moving on. And I just like, I don't know. I was surprised and I think I just hate that. It made me not like Henry, to be honest with you. It put him in a different category in my mind of like, oh, okay, he's this kind of a person, and I don't want to root for someone who's cheating on their girlfriend. Okay? The exchanges for like the letters and stuff that were very sweet, very kind, like very genuine. I really liked that they opened up to each other without knowing they opened up to each other. They thought they were writing to an older person. And so I did like that, but it did feel like the romance was like very rushed. Like there were parts, they're like, we're gonna get married, and it's like, what? And I get that that was part of the plot. Like they didn't get married, but I was like reading the book, I'm like, how are they going to wrap this up? Are they actually like, what? And then it was like a time jump in the future. But even that, she left to go to South Africa and they weren't talking. So like the wedding, the whole thing felt very rushed. Also, this is another spoiler, okay? But the fact that he left her to do that interview, like the town freaked out. The town thought that they were engaged, okay? And it was funny. I thought it was really funny. But then like literally a news station came to their house and was like wanting to do an interview. Henry had to go to his business and do an interview with someone that would bring him a lot of business. And I'm like, he left her. And she was like Henry, don't leave me. I don't want to do this alone. And then when he finally apologized, she's like, don't apologize. Like, it's not a big deal. To me, that is a big deal. I think that Edith and I had very different mentalities when it comes to men, and when it comes to letting them off the hook for things that they shouldn't be let off the hook for. So yeah, I feel very conflicted about this because I was like, should I continue reading it if I feel this annoyed? But there was something about the story that kept me wanting to pick it up and wanting to read it. And then I was like, Lauren, this is why you don't read romance, because you get annoyed by things like this that are literally in like every romance book. And so I think my tolerance for just all of that is so small. It's just hard for me to read romance. So sorry about this little bit of a rant. I did appreciate that this book was clean. There was only kissing involved. They did stay respectful of each other in that regard. So I did really appreciate that. Again, I'm thankful that like clean romance exists because it's a really good alternative to the other. Something I was thinking about is like how many people love romance. I don't know, it just feels like either fantasy or romance. If you recommend those things, they get a lot of views. And I'm like, why is that? And the Lord just started speaking to me about like the innate desire in our hearts to have a grand romance, and that's like written in our hearts, you know? And the grand romance ultimately is Jesus and us, and like he calls us his bride. The fascination with romance, the fascination with falling in love and those feelings and just the pursuit of the woman, you know? And I think that God was speaking to me on that. And I don't know, I don't have like fully formed thoughts necessarily, but it's just an interesting concept. Because at first I was like, Lauren, should I be reading romance? Just because I have had lots of struggles with mental fantasies and lust, if I'm being honest. And that's something the Lord has delivered me from and like broken it off of me completely. But I do have to still be very, very careful about what I put into my mind. Every book I read now is like very much a conversation with the Lord of, should I read this book? Tell me if I shouldn't read this book. If at any point, Lord, I shouldn't read this book, tell me and I will put it down. No questions asked. Like, I'd rather that than like walking down paths I don't want to walk down again. Thankfully, like, that didn't happen in this book. I did think it was really cute. I did love the way that Becca Kinzer weaved. Woved? Wow. I did really like the way that Becca Kinzer weaved humanitarian efforts and helping people in the story on both sides, both Henry and Edith, just like a purpose and adventure for life. But I don't know what I'm doing with this vlog because I feel like I don't want to read people's favorite books and then have such harsh feelings about them. So maybe I shouldn't read romance for that reason alone, but I do need to finish this vlog. Okay, please don't hate me for having honest feelings. I thought that it would be kind of fun to figure out what I want to read on camera because I don't know. Also, I just want to say I feel really bad because I know that like so many people love Dear Henry, Love Edith. And I totally see it. I loved the parts that I loved. You already know, but I just like the things that really bothered me and are things that have always bothered me about romance books. So I just want to say I'm sorry. If you love that book, that's fine. But I also feel like I need to be honest in my thoughts, you know? So, okay, let's go to, I'm gonna look on my Libby app for Tammy L. Gray. Okay, I got her book from the library, Love and a Little White Lie, because I've heard really great things about it. It's a Christian romance, contemporary, I think. The audiobook is out. I would have to place a hold on it, so it's not available. Okay, Amanda recommended Becky Wade. Becky Wade. I think it was Stay With Me. Not available. Okay, not having the best of luck. Now I'm gonna go to my Goodreads and see what I've marked as I want to read. There's this one that I found on Instagram called The Bookish Bandit, and it looked really cute, but I don't know if my library is gonna have it, you know, because it's like an indie author. Okay, no, they don't have it. Okay, let's try Pepper Basham. Not available. All right. I don't know if my library will have a Nicole Deese, because I think she self-publishes too. Oh, they do. I thought these were self-published, but maybe they have them on here. Yay, okay. All That Really Matters by Nicole Deese. This one, Kaitlin has read it and absolutely loved it. In fact, when she was reading this probably a year ago, she was like, I think you would really like this book. So that's great. I'm gonna borrow this and listen to it. I'm pretty sure this has to do with a beauty influencer. That's literally all I know. The cover is really cute because it looks like makeup palettes with like a makeup brush. Today is Tuesday. My girls are at school and I should be cleaning my house, but I'm not gonna be doing that, am I? I took a shower, got ready. I think I'm gonna head to a little bookstore in my town because I haven't been over there in a while. I always like to watch people go into bookstores, so hopefully I'll be able to record a little bit in there. It is very, very small. Let's go! without buying anything, but here I am with 3 things. Okay, 3. That's okay. So I think I'll just show you what I got, because one is a book of poetry from Emily Dickinson. I have never read any poetry from her, but Kaitlin loves her poetry. Caitlin's been like kind of getting into poetry. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Pride and Paperback, I'll link her channel and her information down below. She said the other day to me, she's like, I'm pretty sure Emily Dickinson's one of my favorite poets. So I saw that they had it in there, and I just really like this edition. I think it's really pretty, and it's like big, like the words are really big, and I'm kind of here for it. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I just recently saw that Puffin in Bloom, you know, Rifle Paper Company, designed like the Little Women book, The Secret Garden, I think, and they just recently came out with 3 new ones, and it took everything out of me not to just buy all 3. But I need to have self-control, and I need to pick up books when I feel like I'm actually going to read them, you know what I mean? So I have been really wanting to read Pride and Prejudice. I've never read Pride and Prejudice, but I love that movie. That's probably like maybe my favorite movie, the one with Keira Knightley. So I got this, and it's so beautiful. The back says, "You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you." Oh my gosh. I cannot handle it. The end pages are so cute. So yeah, your girl got it, and I'm gonna read it soon. Mark my words. Maybe I'll have a classic reading vlog. Reading classics. I'm very excited for this. It looks kind of like cross-stitched, you know, but it's not. It's just adorable. And then I also have been really wanting to read Anne of Green Gables. This is, I think, in the original Rifle Paper Company. I do have the Little Women one. I don't have this. Well, now I do. Now I have this one. This one is so pretty also. Just the flowers. It's so pretty. It says, "Looking forward to things is half the pleasure of them." So fun fact, I played Anne of Green Gables, Anne with an E. I was like in middle school, I think. I think I was like in 8th grade, and my sister played, like, I played younger Anne, and my sister played older Anne. Good times. I got to smash the chalkboard. It wasn't like a real chalkboard, but over Gilbert's head, and it was just so fun. I had such a fun time in that play. I feel like Anne is kindred spirits to me in some ways, you know, but then in other ways I'm like, no. Anyways, I'm excited to add these to my collection of Puffin and Bloom. Look how pretty they are together. Ugh. Although, okay, so I've read most of Emma. I think I need to give it another try. I wasn't a huge fan of Emma, but that book, it has strawberries on it. These designers know what they're doing to us book people. Like, they do. They know. They know. If I look tired, it's because I am tired. But I'm here to give an update on all that really matters. I think I'm like 60% of the way into this. I know that I said in the last book, I like romance when there's other things happening in the plot. I think I'm realizing that that's something that I really need. Not need, but like, it just feels like something that I really want. I don't even know if I told you the synopsis. I don't think that I did, so I'll tell you now. It's all about this beauty influencer named Molly. She has like 600,000 followers on Instagram. She is a beauty influencer, which I was talking to Kaitlin. She and I were talking about how we both don't really like influencer books, like books on influencers. There's just something about that I just don't want to read about. I don't know. This one I am really liking. Following Molly, she is trying to get to like 1 million followers within a shorter amount of time because she wants to. I don't know. There's like a TV show opportunity for her, and the more followers she has, the more likely they'll pick her. Her agent is also her boyfriend, and he is not the best, okay? And you know that from the beginning. You're like, okay, these are obviously going to be broken up by the end of this book. He's just like way more focused on business than a relationship with her. But he suggests to her that it would be a good idea to get involved with like a charity or like a cause of some sort, because the show is centering around helping people. I can't remember exactly what the show is, but it would like be a good look for her as well as her brand and all the things. So she goes into wanting to volunteer somewhere very selfishly. She ends up volunteering at a place that helps out aging out foster kids, which I love. I love this organization, and I really have been loving getting to know, what's his name? Silas, which is the male main character, and you're getting dual perspectives, so you're getting Silas and also Molly. I'm not gonna lie to you, it took me a minute to see it because they are so different, and honestly I didn't really pick up on the chemistry between them, if I'm being honest. Like, it's cute, but I don't know, I just like don't fully feel it. But I am 60% of the way, and I know that sounds like I should be like, you know, rooting for them at this point, and I am. But I think that because she was with someone, and this author did it so well, where she didn't really have feelings for him or really start thinking about him that way, and or like realizing her feelings until after she's broken up with her ex-boyfriend. And I appreciate that so much. They're kind of enemies at the beginning, and then it turns to friends, or like just neutral, and then it turns to friends, and then maybe something more, obviously, because this is a romance book after all. Molly grew up in a family. Her brother is a pastor, her parents were missionaries, and she was into all of that, but doesn't claim to be a Christian right now. And so I think she's seeing what faith really looks like in real life in a genuine way. She always felt like she did not fit in if she wasn't like doing missions or like being a pastor. I really love how there's a lot of talk about how God gifts people in different ways for different things. You don't have to be a pastor to glorify God. Like, you can be a beauty influencer and give glory to God. You can be a booktuber and give glory to God. You can do all these things for Him instead of, oh, it must be evil if I am a beauty influencer. You know what I'm saying? So I really am appreciating these conversations surrounding it. Also seeing her soften towards the Lord. The faith is a lot stronger than Dear Henry Love Edith, but it's not like over the top, or not in my mind, but I am a Christian, so I like those conversations, you know? I can tell you that I'm not a romance girly, because like one that can just read romance straight, like forever, because this is my second romance book in a row, and I feel like, okay, I need a break, you know? So I'm hoping that that's not tainting my perception of this book. I think I'm around chapter 33. I did pick up this book, okay? Because it's really pretty. I'm really loving it. I wasn't sure. Obviously, in my last clip, I was like, don't know. Don't know if I can see the romance. Don't know if this was gonna be for me, but I'm loving it. I love the other drama happening. It seems like there's a lot more at stake than just their relationship. There's a lot of other factors, like with some of the girls in the program that Molly is like mentoring. I feel like the development and the character growth that Molly has had is just so good. I am relating to her more than I thought I would be. There's some quotes in here that just so good. She asked him, does he think that she's supposed to shut her channel down? And he's like, supposed to? That's a weird phrase. Like, who do you think is asking you to do that? And she's like, God, maybe? And he's like, do you feel like God is asking you to give up your platform, your influence? And she's like, I don't know. But she's feeling conflicted because she's like, I'm not that person anymore. But I also like, I don't know how to reconcile that. And then he says, because if you gave everything up, he might what? Love you more, forgive you more, accept you more? If that's your goal, you'll never meet it. There's nothing you can sacrifice that's worthy of what God gives us freely. She's talking about like, does this matter at all? Like, does what I'm doing even matter? And he says, it matters because you matter to him. Your enjoyment of makeup and fashion in every shade of sparkle is not some accident. You don't honor God with your life by changing your personality and tossing out everything that is unique about who you are. You honor him by offering those very gifts back to him. What if God wants to work through the platforms you already have, through the followers you have influence with? And let's just say I relate. Obviously, I thought about shutting my channel down because I felt like, I don't know, you guys probably can tell. I'm reading very different things than I used to. I have changed, and that's good. But then I'm like, God, do you want me to continue with this channel? Like, does it glorify you? And I never felt like God was like, yes, shut it down, which certainly he could have. Let's be real. But it's something that I had to surrender to him in order for him to be like, yeah, you can have it. Like, you can have freedom here and it's okay. I can be in creative things. Like, God is creative, you know? And he made me love stories, love books, and love doing YouTube and all the things. So I just really have been relating to her more and am connecting way more than I had been previously. I will say, I do think this book could be shorter. Not that anything is like not important in it. I feel like there for a while it was like, oh my gosh, I still have so much left of this book to read. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, don't end. You know? So that's a good feeling to have. Have about this much left to read, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it today. So, isn't it pretty? Oh, by the way, this is not self-published. It's Bethany House Publishing. So I was wrong about that. So sorry. Yeah. I am really, really liking her writing style. It feels like her stories are meaningful. Obviously, there's way more to the story than just the romance, and I think that's my cup of tea when it comes to romance books. I finished this book. I have to say, I am so glad that I read it. Like, I'm just so glad that I didn't put it down. As you guys know, about halfway through, I was like, I just don't know about this one. The end was so good. It was so good. Okay? The themes of forgiveness and forgiveness when it feels impossible were so real and so just good. I really don't know what other word to use other than good, so that's the word. I think I'm gonna rate this 4 stars. I'm really, really excited to read the next book in this duology. It's about our main character's brother, and so it just makes me very excited, very looking forward to reading the next one. So, I think that this vlog was a success. You guys already know my thoughts on this. In case you didn't watch the spoiler, I will say high level. There's just some things in this book that bothered me. It rubbed me the wrong way. But overall, it was really hilarious. It was a good time reading. This one did feel a little more clean. I don't know. This one was a lot more swoony. Not that this was not clean. It totally was clean. Both of these books had 0 language and only kissing, no bedroom scenes at all. That was good for me. But this one felt less intense than this one. I don't know how to put it into words. This one was more swoony, okay? High level, I just felt like there were some problems that never really fully got addressed, and then just some tropes that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, no matter what book they're written in. I wish that our female main character stood up a little more and didn't let Henry get away with so much, to be honest with you. So I'll keep it at that. But I think I'm gonna rate this 3.5. I had a really good time. It was so funny. I really loved the side characters, the town people, like in both locations that Edith was in. Overall, the love story was good. There were just, you know, there were just some things that, I don't know, not every book is for everyone, and that's okay. I think I'm also finding that I'm very picky when it comes to romance. Like, I'm extra critical, I think, of romance books, and I really don't know why. I just am. So, but overall, we had a good time. I'm ready to read some other genres. So, I don't know what's next. Maybe fantasy? I feel like fantasy is next. You'll probably see me looking like this in the next vlog because I'm about to film an intro clip for the next one, okay? But I hope you enjoyed. I pray that you feel the love of the Lord today, that you just really do feel that His affections for you, and that He delights in you, and that He wants to be your friend. So, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.